Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time on my channel, thank you so much for clicking this video and deciding to watch my video. Thank you so much. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for returning back to my channel. My name is Marian Okonkwo Abakoro. And on this channel, I make videos about productivity, lifestyle, career, and just living my best life. If those are videos that interest you, then definitely consider joining the family. I am a Nigerian content creator based out in Minnesota, but I'm currently out in Seattle for my big tech internship as a product marketing manager. It has been a fun ride and I'm looking forward to sharing more details once I am done with it. But in today's video, I'm going to be talking about something that is a very important aspect of anybody who is trying to build a career or just network and build meaningful connection. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to network the right way. I have fallen victim of this. I remember my very first networking coffee chat with somebody and I did something, so like anytime I remember it, I always just cringe and just started off with, oh, tell me about like the questions they asked you in your interview. And she has been in a role for like 2 years or 3 years. The lady just cut me short. She was like, nope, you're doing this the wrong way. I felt really embarrassed, and since then I've always worked on making sure that my coffee chats are more enjoyable now for both parties. So if that's something you struggle with as well, then this video is definitely for you. I would go into detail on how you should do it step by step. Now, if that's something that interests you, then definitely consider subscribing and joining my family. Like I said, I make career videos, so leave a comment down below if there's something specific that you're looking to learn, and I would hopefully answer it in my next video. Without any further ado, let's go straight to today's video. Now let's talk about networking. What is networking? As the name sounds, it's just you building your network, building meaningful connections with people around you, your peers. So it could be with your friends, but the context of network is in the career space, like you're trying to build your network of people who could potentially be your referrals, friends, like work besties, and all of that good stuff. There are right ways to network, but there's no one proven way to network, one proven right way to network. But in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the right way, in my own opinion, to network. And this is something I've been implementing that has really helped me so far. Starting off, I'm going to be talking about how the networking goes. So there's the pre-work phase, there's the actual interview, and then there's the post-interview. Now for the pre-work phase, you want to understand, like, why are you networking with this person? What's your purpose of networking with this person? Why are you trying to even make friends, in quotes? Once you find that reason, for me it could be like because you want to learn about a particular subject area, you want to learn about their experience at a particular company, you want to get their referrals. So one thing you want to always do, even when you need referrals or you need recommendation, don't start with that. Start with, you want to learn about that person and their role at the company. People always like when you want to learn about them as opposed to trying to get something out of them. Now always make sure to make their work, they should not be doing any work at all. Like, let them just show up at the coffee chat and just talk with you. Now there are different types. You could do the virtual one, which is very popular. That's what I've been doing. Or you could actually do the face-to-face one, whichever one works for you. But right now, because of the pandemic, we're now in the new normal, which is virtual meetings. So definitely take advantage of that, because that also helps to just reduce your anxiety. Now for the pre-work phase, there are certain things you want to do. Find out the subject area. What are you interested in? Now go and do your research and find out people who are working at that company. So for example, when I was networking to learn more about the company that I will be joining, I went on LinkedIn. I literally just searched the name of the company and I went to the people section of LinkedIn. I saw all the people that have been working there, and one thing I did was to target Black Americans and Africans and Nigerians working there, just because I felt they'll be more obliged to talking to me. And then once I was done with the ARG phase, the diversity phase of my research, I then went to other aspects, like other people working at the company. So you want to do that first. Honestly, I feel like that has been really working. You start off with people who are from the same country as you, because you share like one commonality. So you guys are both Nigerians, so you can be very comfortable with saying like some Nigerian slangs, professional slangs, and they would understand. So that's why I always try to, you build your comfort level and then now go outside of your comfort zone and meet more people that are not like you. Now once you've decided that you found a set of people that you want to network with, make a list of that and go to their LinkedIn and read about them and find out what you're looking for is one particular thing that you feel you have in common. And that's why I said start with people who share the same nationality commonality as you. So if there's somebody else that is Nigerian, that's a commonality. So you could both talk about how Lagos is, how all of that is. You know how important this is. You won't know it now, but once you start the interview, it's very awkward for you to just jump on the call. Oh, okay, tell me about one time this, that. No, you need to break the ice. You need to have like an intro, and doing that pre-work will really help you. So if you're both Nigerians, you can talk about, oh, where were you born? I see that you're born in Nigeria. I saw that you studied in Unilag. You find those things that are common to you. So if the person is not even Nigerian and the person identifies as another race, you can go to their LinkedIn still and learn about them, find out what do they love doing. Some people would put it in their headline, in their about section, and if they don't do that, go to the activity. You're literally stalking the person. I know that sounds weird, but that is very important because you want to learn more about this person so the person can feel appreciated that this person has done an extra work to learn about me. Now, once you've concluded all of that, what I like to do is have their names and then what I learned about them on one side, so I can use that as part of my introduction. Okay, so once you've done that, right, you can now start reaching out to them. So you want to send them a message, connect with them on LinkedIn first, and if you're privy to their email addresses, you can send them an email. Now, when you're sending somebody an email, you need to make sure that you're doing a couple of things. You want to introduce yourself because nobody knows you, and quite honestly, nobody cares. So you need to introduce yourself, tell them why you want to meet with them, praise them if you want to, but also tell them why you want to meet with them. You want to meet them for this, that, and also highlight when you're expecting a response from them. So let me know in the next couple of days if you have an available time next week or the week of this for a quick chat. I'm going to show you a sample of that before I move on, but yeah, that's the pre-work phase that you want to dedicate your time into doing. Another thing you want to do, I'm going to go back to your intro email, is to have an agenda. So once you send out the intro email, and your intro email should read this is just a sample. This is one I use when I'm trying to learn about somebody as the somebody and not project related or anything. So let me show you. I have it on my iPad for the purpose of this video. Okay, so I would usually say, hi, name. My name is Marian Okonkwo-Abakpero. I am Nigerian and a full-time MBA candidate at the University of Minnesota, Carlson School of Management. I joined the Power Platform as an MBA product marketing manager intern. I wanted to learn more about you, your role and experiences at Microsoft. Please let me know what time works best for you in the next couple of days, and I'm happy to set it up. It should only take about 30 minutes. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. From this message, you can already see that, one, I'm introducing myself, I'm saying what I'm doing, like why am I connecting with this person, I'm stating what my interest areas are. I'm also telling him how long it should take, because a lot of people, they are all busy, so you want to be conversant and cognizant of their own time. So you let them know if it's going to take 30 to 40 minutes. An ideal coffee chat takes 30 minutes, and I'm going to talk about rule of thumb for those timings. So if you have a 30-minute meeting, you can only ask about 6 to 8 questions with 1 or 2 follow-ups. But if you have 45 minutes, you can ask 10 to 12 questions depending on how verbose the person is. Okay, so that's the intro email. Once you've sent out the intro email, the person has responded. The next thing you want to do is set up a calendar invite, and you just don't want to just send out a calendar invite with no message in the calendar itself. So in the calendar is where you put in your agenda. So you say, hi, name, thank you so much for agreeing to chat with me. I'm really looking forward to learning more about you and learning more about you and learning from your experience. Please see below an agenda for a meeting on so date. So you have agenda, and then you have 5 bullet points. I'm going to be talking about questions that you should have very shortly in your agenda. Like, those are the questions that I always have, come rain, come sunshine. So if you're struggling to find out like what questions should I be asking during this coffee chat, I got you. So this is why I usually have my agenda when I'm just trying to learn more about somebody. So I start off with introduction. So at this phase, I'm going to be like, oh, hi. Before you have the introduction, you want to have like small talks, and that's where your pre-work would come in handy, because you already know what you have in common with that person. So when the person comes, you can start off with even the weather, or if the person is living elsewhere, you'll be like, oh, hi, I noticed that you're living in Eastern Coast time. How is it? I heard it's this, that. It starts with small talks before you actually go to into the introduction. So once you start with small talks, you spend like 1 to 2 minutes on it. They then start off saying by, oh, that's perfect, thank you so much for sharing that. So I was hoping we could start off with some introduction, get to know each other a little bit more before we go into detail regarding our questions. And that shows that the person tells the person that this person is very strategic. And then you start off with your own introduction, because you're not going to take time, and then you hand it off to him or the person and allow the person to talk. Okay, so once the person is talking, make sure you're taking notes, especially when they're talking about themselves, because one thing you don't want to do is go straight to project related question or their role related question without understanding who this person is. So you need to understand, at least pick 2 things that resonate with you from what they said. So it could be about their experience as a prize strategist, it could be about their family, about hiking. So if they say, oh, I love hiking, you ask them, oh, what are some nice spots that you've hiked? Like, what's the most memorable one? Always ask follow-up questions when they talk about themselves, because that shows that you're listening. Now, once you've asked that, you then go straight to your role. Most memorable experience is one that is always handy. So wherever the person is working, you can ask them, oh, what's the most memorable experience you've had in your career? Most valuable lesson you've learned from your career? Books and shows that you're watching lately that are helping you professionally and personally? Advice for an intern. Now, there are 2 questions you should always close up with. So the 2 are books and movies or stuff that you're currently reading that are helping you professionally and personally. And the second question is, are there other people you feel are good connections for me to make that you can help, that you can recommend to me for me to connect with on LinkedIn? So those are 2 very important questions. So you should always have those last, and then have extra like your intro and any other 2-3 questions you want to ask in between, and then you're good for your agenda. Now, once the meeting is done, I already talked about the actual interview itself. Once the meeting is done, you want to thank them for their time. Thank you so much. If you're running out of time, make sure you're monitoring the time, and if you have like 3 more questions, you make sure that you acknowledge that you're running out of time and be like, oh, you know that you just have 2 more minutes and you have 3 questions, but I'm just going to ask one, and is it okay if I set up a follow-up call with you in 2 weeks or 3 weeks for the additional questions I have? They would usually be like, okay, yes, absolutely, especially if they've enjoyed the conversation with you. So you need to leverage that and thank them for their time. Thank you so much for making time to chat with me. I really learned a lot from I really learned a lot from our conversation today, and that's why it's very important for you to take notes. So at that point, that's where you're going to show that you've been listening. So at that point, you'll be like, oh, thank you so much for taking time to chat with me. I really learned a lot about what makes a pricing strategy, the cost, the competitor, and consumers' willingness to pay. And this is something they said just off head at one point. They'll be really glad that at least they made an impact to you. So always pay attention. Don't just be in a meeting for meeting's sake, and I'm sure you're going to get the hang of it. Now, there are a couple of things a lot of people don't do after meetings. After meeting with people, you need to tell them, send a follow-up message thanking them. Like, don't just leave it to chance and be like, oh, since you already thanked them during the call, it doesn't really matter. You need to take that extra step in sending them a message. Thank you so much for taking time to chat with me. I really enjoyed my conversation with you and really learned a lot about you. And have 2 things that you learned from the conversation, and I highlight that in the message and say thank you so much. You're going to be keeping in touch in future if you don't want to keep in touch, or you're going to set up a follow-up call if you want to set up a call, and all of that good stuff. That's with closing out. Now I'm going to give you quick tips now that I've talked about all of like the whole process. Now let's look at some tips that I feel like a lot of people don't know. The first thing you want to do is don't follow up every day. Follow up after a certain amount of time. So if you send a message and the person doesn't reply, and there are certain days you can send messages, believe it or not. Fridays, people are like logged out, they don't want to do anything work, so it's like the worst time to send a message to anybody regarding work. On Mondays are, they come in, they just want to get their work done. Tuesdays are a safe bet, so you meet them, you send a message on Tuesday, and then Thursday you can follow up. So always leave like 2 days, 3 days gap before you then follow up, because everybody's busy, but they could use a reminder. So don't just leave it to chance and forget about it. Now, when you're sending a message to somebody, one thing I hate, even on my Instagram, is when people just say hello. And I'm here like looking at the hello. What is this? Is this person trying to get money from me? Is this person trying to, like, what exactly is this person wanting? Like, I'm like so confused and trying to decide, should I reply? Should I not? So you need to be very concise with your messages. Don't just say hello or hi. Like, the best practice is hello, introduce yourself, my name is this. Have that introduction email as your follow-up for email. Don't just say hello and then when the person replies, that's a Nigerian mentality. I used to do that before. I'll say hello and I'll wait for the person to reply and I'll ask my question. Don't do that. You say hello, you put your whole message there, and so the person can see and reply at once and not have to do like this cat and mouse message chase with you. Next thing you want to also do is make them comfortable. So that's where that small talks at the beginning of your conversation comes in, doing your research about them and finding out something they're passionate about and leveraging that. You want to make sure that they are comfortable, they're laughing with you, they're smiling, and look into the camera. Don't look distracted. If you're going to be typing or taking notes, make sure you tell them that, oh, you're going to be taking notes. Is it okay if you record? Oh, I forgot to mention this. Or you should also make your disclosures at the beginning of your conversation. Oh, you're going to be recording this so you can make your notes afterward. Is it okay if you recorded this session? And they would always be like yes. I think I've just met one person that told me no, and that was because what we wanted to talk about was a confidential matter. So always make sure to ask them before you record. Then I already talked about sending a thank you note. Always send a thank you note because you never know, they would even appreciate it more when you do that. So most times when I'm having meetings, I always do it back to back, and then the next day I just take time to send out a thank you message to everybody, just appreciating them and thanking them for making time to chat with me. I already talked about it, so I'm not going to beat this down excessively, but yeah, it is very, very important. Now, finally, you want to be able to track your connections, and that's where your connection tracker comes in. I'm going to put a screenshot of mine and what it should look like. Ideally, you should have the number, the person's name, the person's position, your key takeaway for when you want to send a thank you message. So your key takeaway, just 2 bullet points, and who they recommended you to meet, if that's a question you ask, and if there are books or resources that you feel they mentioned that are very important, you just have a column there. I'm going to put a screenshot. I'm also going to attach a sample in the description box, just in case you're interested, building out and getting better at this. Okay, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about networking 101. Let me know if this is a video you enjoy. If you have any additional questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I always reply my messages, my comments, so definitely leave a comment down below. And if you have friends who are at that phase of networking and you're shy, don't be. I think I used to struggle with that because I'm such an introvert. I used to be so shy about, okay, maybe I'm not an introvert. I used to be so shy about working with people, like those kind of conversation. I think one thing that helped me is just doing it over and over and over again. Right now, I'm just so comfortable with it. I can have a conversation with anybody, anytime, anywhere, and that takes practice. So don't beat yourself about it. Don't give up on it because it didn't take me one day to get better at it. You will definitely get better. Always practice. One thing I also do, it might sound so stupid, is sometimes I just go to the bathroom, use the mirror to rehearse my coffee chats, my presentations, and it has been such a lifesaver and a huge skill that I highly encourage everybody to do. So if you're struggling like that, like me, or you're just struggling with networking, that's also a good option for you to do. You can also test it out with your partner. I always rehearse with my partner, my husband. You can also rehearse with your friends, anybody that is willing to give you a listening ear, or you just make an imaginary friend and just be talking to the air. I do that too. So definitely take advantage of all the resources that you have. And yeah, I wish you good luck in your networking activities. I'm sure you're going to do great. Let me know if you need any help. Feel free to connect with me on all the platforms, and I hope you subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the video enough to subscribe and share with your friends and like, and most importantly, leave a comment. Okay, if you're subscribing from this video, welcome to the family. I love you, and I hope you stay and enjoy the rest of my video. Until my next one, guys, I wish you well. Thank you so much. Bye.